I offer my obeisances unto the Lord Sri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, who is the supreme, all-pervading personality of Godhead. I meditate upon him, the transcendent reality, who is the primeval cause of all causes, from whom all manifested universes arise, in whom they dwell, and by whom they are destroyed. I meditate upon that eternally effulgent Lord, who is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and yet is beyond them. It is He only who first imparted Vedic knowledge onto the heart of Brahma, the first created being. Through him, this world, like a mirage, appears real even to great sages and demigods. Because of him, the material universes, created by the three modes of nature, appear to be factual, although they are unreal. I meditate therefore upon him, the absolute truth, who is eternally existent in his transcendental abode, and who is forever free of illusion. Obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, directly indicate Lord Sri Krishna, who is the divine son of Vasudeva and Devaki. This fact will be more explicitly explained in the text of this work. Sri Vasudeva asserts herein that Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, and all others are his direct or indirect plenary portion, or portions of the great portion. Srila Jiva Goswami has even more explicitly explained the subject matter in his Krishna Sandarbha, and Brahma, the original living being, has explained the subject of Sri Krishna substantially in his treatise named Brahma Samhita. In the Samaveda Upanishads, it is also stated that Lord Sri Krishna is the divine son of Devaki. Therefore, in this prayer, the first proposition holds that Lord Sri Krishna is the primeval Lord, and if any transcendental nomenclature is to be understood as belonging to the absolute personality of Godhead, it must be the name indicated by the word Krishna, which means the all-attractive. In Bhagavad Gita, many places the Lord asserts himself to be the original personality of Godhead, and this is confirmed by Arjuna and also by great sages like Narada, Vyasa, and many others. In the Padma Purana, it is also stated that out of the innumerable names of the Lord, the names of Krishna is the principal one. Vyasadeva indicates the plenary portion of the personality of Godhead, and all the different forms of the Lord being identical with Vasudeva are indicated in the text. The name Vasudeva particularly indicates the divine son of Vasudeva, Devaki. Sri Krishna is always meditated upon by Paramahamsa, who is in the perfection ones among those in the renounced order of life. Vasudeva, or Lord Sri Krishna, is the cause of all causes. Everything that exists emanates from the Lord. How this is so is explained in later chapters of this work. This work is described by the Mahaprabhu Sri Chaitanya as the spotless Purana because it contains a transcendental narration of the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. The history of Srimad Bhagavatam is also very glorious. It was compiled by Sri Vasudeva after he had attained a maturity in transcendental knowledge. He wrote this under the instruction of Sri Naradaji, his spiritual master. Vasudeva compiled all Vedic literature containing the 4 divisions of the Vedas, the Vedanta Sutra or the Brahma Sutra, the Puranas, the Mahabharata, and so on. But nevertheless, he was not satisfied. His dissatisfaction was observed by his spiritual master, and thus Narada advised him to write the transcendental activities of Lord Sri Krishna. These transcendental activities are described specifically in the 10th canto of his work, but in order to reach to the various substance, one must proceed gradually by developing knowledge of the categories. In nature, that philosophical mind wants to know about the origin of creation. At night it sees the stars in the sky, and he naturally speculates about their inhabitants. Such inquiries are natural for man, because man has a developed consciousness, which is higher than that of animals. The author of Srimad Bhagavatam gives a direct answer to such inquiries. He says that the Lord Sri Krishna is the origin of all creation. He is not only the creator of the universe, but the destroyer as well. The manifested cosmic nature is created at a certain period by the will of the Lord. It manifests for time, and then it is annihilated by his will. Therefore, the supreme will is behind all cosmic activities. Of course, there are atheists of various categories who do not believe in a creator, but that is due to a poor fund of knowledge. Modern scientists, for example, has created space satellites, and by some arrangements or other, these satellites are thrown into outer space to fly for some time at the control of the scientist who is far away. Similarly, all the universes with innumerable stars and planets are controlled by the intelligence of the personality of Godhead. In Vedic literature it is said that the absolute truth, personality of Godhead, is the chief among all living personalities. All living beings, beginning from the first created being, Brahma, down to the smallest ant, are individual living beings. And above Brahma there are even other living beings with individual capacities. And the personality of God is also a similar living being. And he is an individual, as are the other living beings. But the Supreme Lord, or the Supreme Living Being, has the greatest intelligence, and he possesses most inconceivable energies of all. Different varieties. If a man's brain can produce a space satellite, one can very easily imagine how brains higher than man can produce similarly wonderful things which are far superior. The reasonable personality will easily accept this argument. But there are stubborn atheists who would never agree. Srila Vasudeva, however, at once accepts the supreme intelligence as the Paramatma. He offers his respectful obeisance unto the supreme intelligence addressed as Para and Paramasvara, or Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the Paramasvara. Sri Krishna admitted in the Bhagavad Gita that the other scriptures delivered by Sri Vasudeva, specifically the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the Bhagavad Gita the Lord says that there is no other Paratattva summum bonum than himself. Therefore Sri Vasudeva at once worships the Paratattva Sri Krishna, whose transcendental activities are described in the 10th canto. Bye-bye. Talk to you later.